We are in beautiful upstate New York, where there is a waterfall everywhere you turn. I'm invigorated by the energy of this place, and it's inspiring some extra motivation to move. The upcoming sequence will warm your body, challenge your muscles and heart rate, and then bring you through a sweet cool down. So all you're left with is the bliss of it. Enjoy.
Hey guys, I thought we should do a little bit of high intensity today, or medium intensity. Basically something to get your muscles burning a little bit, your heart pumping a little bit, but still mindful of your body, signs and signals. So don't do anything that hurts, listen, but also challenge yourself, and hopefully this feels great. Of course, as always, we're going to start with a warm-up. So we're going to start with toe touches, and I want you to keep your back very flat and your legs as straight as possible. So let's get your feet parallel and feel your pelvis and your rib cage, the distance between them, trying not to arch the back or push the hips forward. We just want to connect the pelvis and the ribs, and then keep that same connection as you drop down. So you don't necessarily have to arch your back, but you imagine tipping the sits bones up so that you don't round and you get that nice hamstring stretch. So we're just going to go up and down. And breathe, and just kind of feel the belly muscles supporting the spine, the hamstrings stretching on the way down, and imagine you're lifting your sits bones a bit as you go down to keep the lumbar spine long. Now, if you go here and all of a sudden you can't go any further without your back rounding, then this is your stopping point. I want you to feel the length in the hamstrings and the length in the spine. So just go up and down a few more times. As you go down, you feel the sits bones spreading a bit, spreading right where your leg and your booty meet. And then when you come up, feel them squeezing together a bit so that you feel the coming up is a deadlift of your body weight with the legs and the booty. This is not supposed to be a back extension and arching of the lumbar spine. We want to really use your hamstrings and your tush to bring your pelvis to neutral, down and up. Let's go 5 more times. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to do an air squat, meaning just squatting your body weight. Feet hips width or shoulders width or wider. And this is, just a place to feel it out. In the end, you want to feel your best squat, so there's no exact location for your feet, but we do want a moderate rotation, and we want your knees pointing over your toes. So we don't want to collapse inward, pointing the knees forward and the toes out. We want the knees following the toes. Hips go back, knees are not shoving forward, loading the forefoot, but instead loading the heel to load the booty. So we're just going to go down and up. I like to put my hands in a little prayer position just to get them out of the way. You can do what you want with them. Keep wanting to drive the heels down, and again, feel that heels to sits bone connection so that you feel your glutes and your hamstrings, rather than your lower back and your knees, are doing most of the work for you. Let's go 5 more times. This is 5. And 1. Awesome. Okay, so now I want you to take a step back with your, just with one foot, doesn't matter which. The same foot that's stepping back, the arm reaches forward. And the other arm reaches out to the side. That's going to help you with a little balance. You're going to kick and step back, and kick and step back. Just a little lunge, a little balance work, a little hamstring stretch again. Let's go 4 more times. Last one. And then planting your other foot. Leg that steps back, arm reaches forward. Other arm reaches out to the side for balance. And kick up and lunge back. Last one. Awesome. So now we should be getting warmer. We're going to do toe touches, fewer sets or fewer reps. So we're going to go down and up 15 times. You should be feeling your heart rate, your hamstrings, your tummy. I lost count, but 3, 2, and 1. I bet that's pretty close. And 15 squats. I get stuck thinking about my body, and sometimes I lose count of the reps. And in a warm-up, especially, that's really fine. You don't create balance in your body in one workout. So don't get too caught up on stuff like that when you could be thinking about where the sensations are in your body, really tuning into the engagements and the releases. And now we're going to do our kicks. So lunge back, kick up. We'll do about 10 on each side. Good. Nice work, guys. Other side. All right. Awesome. All right, so let's just get a little side stretch in. Kind of making more room for air here. Take a nice deep breath. And up and over, feeling those ribs fan out, lengthening, breathing a little bit more intently. One more each side. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to get down to a plank position. And if plank is not comfortable for you on your toes, then go to your knees. If you feel your back or you don't feel the strength is in your core and arms to support a full plank, find a plank by spreading out those palms. Step back, keeping your chest between your hands or even a little forward of your hands. Try not to plank back here, but really draw the chest forward. And then if this does not feel comfortable long term, just lower your knees, but don't be in that quadruped position with your hands forward. Let's bring your chest over your hands and your hips open. So we want to be here or here. So for those of us who are on the hands, we're going to be in plank and press to down dog. For those of us on the knees, we can press back to a child's pose with long arms to stretch the lats. If you can press up to down dog, I would suggest it so that you can get the calf stretch as well, hamstring stretch, and just walking the dog out. Feel the shoulder blades are wide on the back. And then we're going to come forward into your plank. And here, I want you to keep your toes tucked if you're in plank. Drop your hips and lift your chest up, stretching the tummy, activate the legs, feel like you're trying to pull your pubic bone up. And again, you can be here on the knees if need be. And then we're going to go back to plank and find that shoulder blade connection to the back ribs, the belly muscles lifting up, so you don't want to sag your hips, you want to keep the rib cage in, the legs and butt active, and then press back. Good, so now we're just going to kind of flow through that movement, stretching the hamstrings, lengthening through the spine, coming forward, establishing a strong plank, hips down, heart up, roll those shoulders up, back and down, lift the belly muscles up, you should feel a stretch in the front, and then back to plank, and then press back. We're going to do 2 more of those, coming forward, hips down, heart up, stretching, feel those low belly muscles stretch away from the pubic bone and the hip bones, and then back to plank, and then back to the down dog, lengthening from the shoulder blades to the hips, down to the heels. So make sure that you don't just completely disconnect in your shoulders and move through your shoulder joints. Keep this muscular connection. Coming back to plank, feeling that same muscular connection, holding your arms to your core, hips down, heart up, roll those shoulders up, back and down. If you cannot prevent your shoulders from shrugging, I would get onto the knees, bend the elbows, drop the shoulders so that you can move through your thoracic spine. This will actually not let your upper back get the mobility that you're looking for. So get those shoulder blades down the back, lift the heart, and then back to plank. Good. We're going to come to a little child's pose. And from here, we're just going to sit on the heels if that's comfortable, because I want you to get a little thigh stretch, a little warming of your knee and ankle joints, and we're just going to do some wrist rolling, because we're going to go back on those hands. And we do want flexible and strong wrists, so there's a little pain involved sometimes when we're new to planking, and a little discomfort is to be expected, but you know, pain is not. So you have to be really aware of your body and what it's telling you. Is this beneficial discomfort that's building strength and flexibility, and you know, you want to continue, or are you to that point where you need to give a rest and you can come to a forearm plank or just take a rest from the exercise? So now we're going to go back to those hands, spreading out the palms. Make sure you don't roll to the outer edges, but really press the palm down into the mat. And you're going to step right foot outside of right hand, and then step back, and then left foot, and step back. Now you're trying to prevent your hips from going up. You're trying to keep those shoulder blades down your back and stepping, and this should warm up the tummy and warm up the hips. Four more. And rest. Good. Give them a little roll out again. Good. Back onto the hand, bringing knee to opposite elbow. Twisting the hips and spine a bit, but shoulders stay stable. Four, 3, 2, and 1, and rest. Okay, let's come up, knees under hips, squeeze the bottom so you feel an opening in the front of your hip, press your hands into your hips, lift your heart. You don't have to worry about dropping your head back unless that comes very naturally to you. You can always go into that full camel pose in yoga with your hands on your heels, but all I'm asking is a little bit of extension through the hips and the chest, and breathe. Okay, so now we're going to sit at the top of your mat and hug your knees to your chest. We're going to do rolling like a ball, preparing for reverse burpees. So rolling back and up, massaging the back on the mat. You're trying not to change the shape of your spine. So you feel your pelvis is curling under and your lower back is flexed, tucked under, so that you can roll through it instead of rolling back and thumping. You're really trying to round your spine without over engaging those neck and throat muscles. Now, if this is your limit, then this is your limit. But if you can turn it up, you're going to try stand up. So the momentum of the roll is going to help carry you forward. And this is much, much easier even with just a small weight. So if you want to hold a weight in your hands, you can reach the weight forward to stand up, then bring it back to your chest when you roll, and then reach the weight forward to stand up. And you can always just do rolling like a ball if that's better for your body. All right, we did it. Nice work. Okay, so now we're going back to some leg movement. We warmed up those legs by standing from the ground, hopefully. And if you just did your rolling like a ball, you still got that nice spinal belly warm up. All right, so now we're back to squat position. Feet are about shoulder width apart, slightly rotated, I think of 11 and 1 on a clock. And we're gonna go down, down, up, or down, down, leap. Down, down, leap. Every time you land, of course, it's on the ball of the foot, but you want to transfer the load from the ball of the foot to the heel as you squat. Two more. And rest. Woo! Okay. Awesome work, you guys. Okay, so now we're going to pivot and come into a lunge position, splitting the stance, tucking the pelvis under, and I don't mean that to the point of shoving your hips forward, but in a lunge, you're not in really much danger of that. We usually get a very tipped pelvis and a compressed lower back and a disconnected core because the leg that's stepping back is pulling the pelvis back. So in thinking about tucking the pelvis under, you're just bringing it to neutral so that your lumbar spine can be long. And this front leg is loaded more on the heel than the balls of the foot so that you're not tracking your knee and chest forward. You're going to really be in much more balance and more in your hamstrings, booty, belly muscles if you go straight up and down. And how you know that you're in the right position in your pelvis is that this should be creating a stretch in the back thigh. We're just straightening and bending and straightening and bending. Yeah! Good. We're going to step together, step back with the other foot. Try to get that pelvis to neutral. So instead of kinking that lower back, we're going to try to point the tailbone down, draw the pubic bone up, feel that stretch in the back thigh, and go down and up. Four, 3, 2, and 1. And then step together. Alrighty. So hopefully you're feeling heart rate is raised a little bit. We're going to come back down to the mat and start thinking about cooling down the muscles a little bit. Sitting cross-legged and just kind of rocking side to side to feel your body out. So this is not meant to be intense. This is meant to be discovery. And hopefully in this position, you're comfortable. But if you want to sit on a pillow or a little block or something to elevate your hips, if your hips are so tight that your knees are up and your back is round, sit on something because you want to be comfortable here. And then you're going to start to lean the heart forward and fold forward until you feel a stretch in your back and your hips. And if this does not feel like a stretch in the back and hips, you can always go to a double pigeon position where your shins and feet are stacked. You want this foot under your knee, not back by your booty for this stretch. And you're just going to lean forward in your cross leg or double pigeon position. If you notice that your body is relaxing and releasing, then maybe travel an inch more forward, feeling those hips kind of stretch back, maybe moving the flesh from the sit bones and letting your heart lean just a little more forward. I put my hands in this little prayer position because sometimes I like to rest my head on my hands, elbows on knees, or elbows on the ground. And you just find that place that feels comfortable. Being very sweet to the hips, especially if they are already a little bit upset. So let's lean back so that you have no surprises for your joints when you switch. So you're going to just bring the other leg in front and do that little rocking and discovery. Both sides of the body are never really the same. Leaning forward, seeing where your happy place is for your stretch. If you fold forward and that is just not quite deep enough for your hips, eventually you can go to this stacking. This is not a goal. This is just a place for you to get to if you want the proper sensation. Stretching is not goal-oriented, so just remember that the only goal is to feel the stretch, not to be in any certain position in your body. Try to breathe in through the nose a little bit more. That will help to calm your heart rate. Let's see if you can feel the lungs expanding in the ribs to the sides and back rather than just the front. Forward folding is a good place to experiment with that. Okay, leaning back. Let's extend the legs out to the front and keep them straight first. Feel like your pinky toes and your big toes are pointing straight up. And you can again try to get the flesh away from the sits bones. And if you cannot sit up straight with your legs out, sit on a little pillow. It works. Or sit on a little yoga block. And start to lean the chest forward, still pulling the pinky toes back. You can reach for whatever you want, just as long as your shoulders are not shugging your ears. And we're just going to reach for those feet, trying to pull the pinky toes back. Rocking a little side to side. Now you're going to allow your legs to part a little bit. Let your toes and your knees bend, little froggy diamond shape, and then folding forward again, you'll have a little more room to roll forward now. And you can just let your head and hands hang. Roll up slowly. Place the hands behind you. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. You can place your feet on the mat just to lift your heart and open your chest. And then again, sit Indian style cross-legged, and let's just do a little spinal twist. And other way. And then just roll the shoulders up, back, and down a few times. Just kind of remind the shoulders up, back, and down. That's different than popping your ribs out. You know, just kind of let the shoulders hang back rather than tighten the neck and slumping forward. Allowing the ribs to just soften down the body. And you guys are all done for now. I'll see you soon. Thank you for joining me.